When Vinnie's asked me to do a presentation on an issue around homelessness, it was about the same time that my kids were asking me why I was involved in the CEO Sleepout. And it dawned on me that my kids really had no perspective on what it was like to be homeless. So I decided to interview 12 primary school kids from across Canberra to gain their perspective. And you'll see that their thoughts are not only innocent and honest, but at times thought-provoking.
I think it would be really bad, and I would feel really sad because if you're alone, you'd have no one to talk to, and no safe place to stay the night or stay the day.
I wouldn't like it that much because I'd be out on the streets trying to get some money so I could buy some things.
Pretty bad. You wouldn't get food or shelter.
I don't really be bad. It would be so depressing because you're sleeping and you don't have a house to sleep in, no electricity or heating or anything, so you could get really sick.
I think it would be quite scary because you live on the streets and you don't know who could come through. None. On the streets, on the pavements and stuff.
I'm not sure how many, probably quite a lot because Canberra's pretty big. I think they sleep on the grounds because if they're homeless they don't have a home to sleep, so they're probably sleeping out on the ground on paths and all that.
I don't really know. More than 100. On stairs in the streets.
All over the streets?
Probably a lot, and they'd sleep on doorsteps and on the grass and under trees and trying to keep warm.
About 50,000 on the streets.
About 2 to 3 years old and older. 0 to 75.
Any age?
Well, I think they might have finished school, so maybe 19 to 20 and onward.
Just little babies? I don't know.
Maybe they didn't have a good education, so they couldn't get a job, or maybe they weren't loved at home, so they don't know.
Because they don't have enough money.
Well, there's a lot of reasons. Maybe because they were poor and they grew up not having a family or grew up not having a home.
I think they don't have anywhere to live because they don't have enough money to pay for a house, or there aren't enough houses in Canberra.
A dishwasher.
I'd miss having hot showers. Like on my Xbox.
I would miss the most the computer because you can't search for somewhere to go, and you won't be able to find out information that you need.
Having showers.
We could talk about it and try and stop all people not having homes and get them somewhere to live.
Any sort of fundraiser like cooking or stuff like that.
Well, if you talk about things consistently, they get in people's brains. So if we talked about how homeless people are, then they can understand it more. And we can also do fundraising to help.
I do instead of having lunch one day, we'd have like practice like living, like sleeping around the school area. So we'd sleep, or not sleep, but we'd bring stuff that we'd probably sleep in, and we'd just lay down around school instead of having lunch.
You could have like a mini parade.
Do a lot of fundraising and then give it all to charity.
Sheree, you're the principal of St Bede's Primary School in Red Hill, and you've helped us with this video today. Can you tell me what it's been like to get involved with the CEO Sleepout and how it has impacted on you personally, and what you think you can do within the school to raise awareness about the CEO Sleepout and Vinnie's generally?
Yeah, I think it does make you have another think. It's like, well, in terms of education, in terms of our school, what does that mean for us? And in my role as a school leader, what does that mean for us? Because personally, it does have an impact, and I think we all have trouble even getting a sense of what that must be like to be homeless. And I think that's sort of the starting point, particularly because we work with little people here. How do we transfer that to some kind of awareness for them?
Well, it's interesting because a lot of the children, I was expecting their responses to be that they would miss their iPads and their iPods, but their responses were, I would miss the heating, the lighting, the food. And so that was actually quite lovely to hear the kids not say the answers that I was expecting.
Yeah. Yep.
But it does show us also that they are thinking about what it would be like to be homeless.
And it's a difficult concept to grasp. So I think that next step, which is about yes, to be appreciative and to know what I have in my life, I think leads to that next part. We can then have empathy when for those that we come across who don't have that. And maybe it's that work, that inside work that we're on about, to have young people that grow to an awareness where that question comes from within them.
Can you tell me, I know that at St Bede's you have, this year, on the day of the sleep out, you've decided to have a fundraising day. What are you going to do, and how are you going to involve the kids?
Sure. So we talked about it at school and thought, well, what can we do? How can we make this happen? We're only a little school, but we try to make as big an impact as we can. So our Student Representative Council are going to run a uniform-free day, but we're putting a bit of a theme to it. So it's going to be socks and scarves and beanies, and so there'll be a gold coin donation to not wear your school uniform, but you can also add some socks, scarf and beanie. And we're also looking at adding into that like a hot chocolate or warm chocolate element to that day too, where children will have the opportunity to buy warm chocolate.
Excellent.
So that's, yeah.
Well, thank you for helping us bring this together, and I guess being the gel that has brought the videos together. I appreciate your help, and hopefully we can do something with St Bede's every year, and hopefully other schools can also do something to, I guess, commemorate this day and recognise that the CEOs are sleeping out, and maybe other schools can do things like the Uniform Free Day and raise some much needed funds.
Well, it's been my pleasure, and thank you for the opportunity.